everyone, this is Tara with Ariana Stark. This is your weekly love reading for the week starting from 25th to 31st January 2021. Like always, I will cover all 12 sun signs in this reading. Cross watchers also welcome to have a look at this reading. We also have the timestamp given in the description box, so in case you want to proceed directly to your sun sign, you can do just that. Like always, I will rely on tarot for your overall messages, and I'm also using a love oracle deck that I have here. For Aries, we have the card Justice, and I also have the card I was reminded of your scent recently. Single Aries, definitely you're going to find yourself being the center of attention. You can also expect a marriage proposal, maybe through a sibling or through a near and dear one. Even at social events, you will be singled out. You will definitely find yourself being pursued. Maybe there are also going to be prospective suitors and their parents who could make it very explicit that they are interested in forming a connection with you, or they want you to be hitched to their child. This could also put you off a bit. Maybe you think there are certain people who are very undesirable. Interestingly, the person who's interested in you could also be from a different social or cultural background. Maybe their conduct could leave you disgusted. Even if they have deep pockets, you're disinterested. I think you want to stay single, you want to be all by yourself. Maybe you have somebody else on your mind. In case you're crushing on someone, I think Aries, you will continue to cyberstalk your person. Maybe you will also find yourself reading up on soulmate relationships. At times, you may also feel the void in your life. Maybe you desire a deep connection with this person. Perhaps you were reminded of his scent recently. As you are romancing, I think you and your lover are going to plan about the future. Maybe you want to settle down in one place together. Maybe there'll be also urgent work which could keep you preoccupied. That is why you don't have time for this person, or you're distracted a bit. Interestingly, your lover is also trying to get close to you. Maybe he wants commitment from you, but you're not going to commit, or you're not going to play ball. I think some of you could also be distracted because there could be other suitors. Even if you're in a connection, or even if you're romancing, maybe you will realize that you've been unfaithful in the relationship, or that you have flirted with the other person. That is why it could gnaw at your relationship. Maybe you will take the help of your confidant who could say that you need to put an end to this connection, because dishonesty or unfaithfulness could become a bigger issue later on. You feel you have hurt, so that is why you want to distance yourself from this connection. Nonetheless, you're going to be reminded about your lover, even though you know that you have made a huge mistake. Sometimes you could also question your own self. You think that you're not good at relationships, or that you're a commitment phobe. Besides, I think you don't have deep pockets. That is why you want to establish yourself materially. Those of you who are married, I think you are distracted as you realize that your spouse is suspicious of your moves. Maybe he could also question you over financial matters. The issue of expenditure could also come up in your relationship or in your conversation. At times, your spouse could also come across as someone who's quite aloof and curt. Maybe you also want to inform your person about a legal matter which is coming up, or you're in a legal entanglement of sorts. So that is why you want to keep your spouse abreast of whatever is going on in this legal matter. Some of you may also be estranged from your person. That is why you want a formal divorce, or you want to annul the marriage. That is why this Justice card has come up. Ideally, I think Aries, you should not put up with abuse of any kind. Maybe even anger could mar your relationship. Interestingly, you'll also be concerned about your in-laws this week. Maybe they are unwell and they need your attention as a caregiver. From Aries, I will move to Taurus. For Taurus, I have the card Four of Cups. And I also have the card I'm still trying to find myself. Certainly, Taurus, you find yourself in an emotional mess. You could be emotionally discontented. Maybe in case you're romancing, you may find there's a physical distance with your person on account of him being away, on account of work, that is. Interestingly, singletons, you could find yourself being stalked on the social media. Maybe there are lecherous men or lecherous members of the opposite sex, so you need to be very careful. There could be a particular admirer who's madly in love with you, and he could try to familiarize himself with your family members. Incidentally, there could also be a particular admirer who could try to familiarize himself with your family members or near and dear ones. Maybe he is doing so in the hope that you could fall for his charms. But you will make it clear that you are disinterested. In case you are crushing on someone, I think the idea of trying to renew contact with this person could come up in your head. But this person could be disinterested. Maybe he's still trying to find himself. Perhaps you should let the universe guide you in case you think that it's a dead end. Nonetheless, you're somebody who wants to understand his thoughts or his messages on the social media. Romancing Taurus, I think you'll be discussing work-related issues with your person. Maybe you will let your mother know of your plans about marriage. I think it's time to come clean about the romance. On the other hand, those of you who are married, I think if you want your spouse to oblige you, then you should be more tolerant of him. Maybe you think that he's got a very lax attitude. Your confidant may remind you that you have to grin and bear in case you want to have it your way. In case you're in an extramarital relationship, you may be a bit perturbed because your person's marital partner could be making a return. This means that the conversations with him or her could be limited. From Taurus, I will move to Gemini. For Gemini, I have the card Page of Swords. And I also have the card, I don't think I can take your reaction right now. Certainly the opposite sex will try to impress you this week, Geminis. I think your crush is also someone who is going to be cyber-stalked by you. Maybe you will understand or read between the lines with respect to his opinions on the social media. Sometimes you think that his thoughts are very silly, and sometimes you think his thoughts are quite deep and profound. Interestingly, Geminis, you may also hear from an ex-flame this week. Maybe he wants to rekindle the romance, but you have moved on. Perhaps he cannot take your reactions. Those of you in an unacknowledged relationship could reach out to this person, but this person could ignore you or overlook your messages. Ideally, I think you should not cling to this person even if you're concerned about his well-being. Preferably, I think you should focus on your own goals and aspirations. But you are somebody who doesn't like the ambiguity that is there with respect to this relationship. Those of you who are married, I think you are dealing with a person who is quite suspicious this week. As a man, I think you should be more tolerant of your person rather than romantically link your wife to a worker of the opposite sex. Maybe you are going to take spites on her, or you are going to raise objections. Those of you who are in an extramarital relationship, I think you should need to be very careful because you could be confronted by somebody who gets wind of your relationship. Consequently, you will be a bit sheepish, or you may be avoiding your parents this week. Basically, you are not somebody who can take their reactions. From Gemini, I will move to Cancer. For Cancer, I have the card 8 of Wands, and I also have the card I keep comparing others to you. You'll be much admired this week, Cancerians. In fact, even if you are traveling to a new place, you may meet with new people, and that is why they will also be showing an interest in you. I think communication could also throw you in the path of other people or other members of the opposite sex. There will be a particular suitor who will go all out to woo you, to get your attention. This will surely leave you smug. Basically, you like the attention so much so that if there's a lull, then you may question, or you may feel, wow, what has been going on. Ideally, I think you should acknowledge your feelings in case you are crushing on this person or you are realizing that you're falling in love with him, but you will hesitate. Incidentally, Cancerians, unwanted attention could also come your way this week. Those of you who are crushing on someone, I think you will continue to cyberstalk your crush. You think that he's a phone call away because you are getting that urge to reconnect. We have the Wands energy here, so this communication is definitely there on the cards, but then you're not going to proceed. Maybe you'll be asked by your confidant to go ahead, but then you may retreat from this connection. Perhaps you think it's not time yet. Incidentally, you could also face opposition to your connection. Maybe some people around you may say that you should put an end to it. Romancing Cancerians, you'll have brief but profound conversations with your love. Maybe the romantic weather could also stir up feelings or make you nostalgic. I think you will also be discussing your family problems with this person. Basically, you are looking for your lover's support and advice this week. I think if it's a secret romance, you could also want to go public with this affair by going on a public date. But then your person could be hesitant about it. I think you don't want secrecy with respect to your relationship. Perhaps you feel that this person is uncertain. Now and then he could also be comparing you with his exes or his past lovers, or you think that it's not required or it's not necessary. On the other hand, those of you who are married, I think you could accuse your wife of neglecting you. Maybe it's unfair. You should appreciate because she's also doing behind the scenes work. Ideally, I think both sexes needn't always complain about your unhappy marriage. Maybe your spouse is also going to shower you with gifts, so you should appreciate that rather than find faults with the same. Maybe you're also somebody who's comparing your spouse with an ex. From Cancer, I will move to Leo. For Leo, I have the card Sun. And I also have the card, You Still Take My Breath Away. Single Leos, I think your suitor will go all out to woo you. Perhaps you still take his breath away. Maybe he will also try to impress your family members, but you are disinterested. Even if he has made your heart skip a beat, I think you will put limitations on yourself. On the other hand, those of you who are crushing on someone, I think you will realize that this person is more spiritually inclined. Perhaps he suffers from commitment phobia, or he doesn't want additional responsibilities on his shoulders. Nevertheless, this person still takes your breath away. Romancing Leos, I think you will indulge in phone conversations this week. Maybe you're going to woo your person with sweet nothings. I think you are going to be somebody who's going to assist him in every possible way. On the other hand, those of you who are married, I think you should avoid disagreements because you have the Sun card. So maybe you're coming across as somebody who is blowing hot and cold this week. Maybe you will also be at the receiving end of your spouse's ire. There could be some issues with respect to work that could bother him or her, and he could use you as a punching bag. Interestingly, this week, Leos, you'll also be concerned about the health of your loved one, maybe your child or even your partner. From Leos, I will move to Virgo. For Virgo, I have the card Six of Swords. And I also have the card I will come back for you. If you notice, Six of Swords is a sword which talks about travel. Maybe you are undecided about whether to move forward with this connection, but in the last minute, I think a reconnection could happen with someone here. Single Virgos, I think your admirer feels that you are a little bit detached with respect to this connection. Maybe you want to give this relationship time and space. Perhaps he thinks that you are disinterested. Maybe he also feels that time will slip away, so you should accept his proposal. In case you're crushing on someone, Virgos, you will clarify issues here. Maybe there'll be work-related discussions and you want to clear the air about the same. On the other hand, those of you who are in an on-again, off-again relationship, I think you cannot take the distance anymore. That is why you will reconnect with this person. Even if you're a bit apprehensive, maybe this card, I will come back for you, seems to hold true for you, Virgos. Interestingly, this week, some of you could also hear from an ex-flame who could approach you with a work offer. Maybe you will have a very professional attitude because you don't want to rekindle the romance, or you don't want him to have any ideas that you're interested in him. On the other hand, those of you who are romancing, I think you want to make it plain to your family elders that you're romancing this person or that you want to marry this person. But when anybody questions you about any intimacy, or then you will deny the same. Maybe you think that somebody else has talked about your romance in public, in case it's a secret relationship, that is. Those of you who are married have to deal with a querulous spouse this week. Maybe your partner is quite demanding and he or she always wants you by his side. Maybe you don't have any time for yourself or for your children. That is why this could affect the relationship, or it could affect you as well. So sometimes you could also overrule your wife's plans to travel. Maybe infidelity could also be an issue here. For Libra, I have the card High Priestess, and I also have the card Am I good enough for you? Certainly those nagging doubts are going to creep up with respect to a relationship or connection that is there. Maybe you or this person in question could be pondering over the same. Ideally, I think you should not have these insecurities. Those of you who are single, I think you will have your secret admirers. Maybe an acquaintance could also introduce you to a member of the opposite sex. Certainly, this person could leave an impression on your heart or on your soul. You do find yourself falling in love with him, but then you could also feel that there's incompatibility. Maybe there's a physical distance here on account of you living in different cities. Some of you may also feel that your cultural backgrounds are quite different. This is why you could be feeling a bit confused about your feelings. Maybe you think that it's not going to work out. Ideally, I think Librans, you should go with the flow. On the other hand, those of you who are romancing, I think you should follow your instinct. You should let your heart rule over your head. Maybe you should understand that you are good enough for this person. Married Librans, I think you should avoid disagreements. Maybe sometimes you feel as though that whatever you do is never enough. Besides, you feel unacknowledged in this relationship. Maybe you wish your spouse would show more affection or should be more loving and be kindly disposed towards you. Some of you may also be concerned because there could be quarrels amongst your children and this could affect your marital life. From Libra, I will move to Scorpio, which is the 8th sign of the zodiac. For Scorpio, I have the cards King of Swords and I also have the card, I know it might be too late by the time I figure things out. Certainly, single Scorpions, I think you're going to reject prospective suitors. Maybe you have this nagging doubt whether you have done the right thing or not. Interestingly, in case you're crushing on someone, I think you should not be too persuasive. On the other hand, those of you who are romancing, I think you'll have witty exchange with your person. Maybe you're too preoccupied with work, that is why you don't have time for him. Nevertheless, I think when you two talk, then you will discuss your innermost secrets. Ideally, I think Scorpions, you should be more patient with your person. Maybe you should listen and let him open up rather than interrupt. Sometimes there'll be the closeness which you will enjoy, but at other times there'll be no communication. So this could baffle you a bit. Maybe there'll also be opposition to your lover. Maybe your loved ones don't warm up to him. They could ask you to call off the romance, but then you will definitely follow your heart. You may also be very worried or anxious because you think somebody could blow the whistle about your secret romance. We do have the card here, I need more time to figure things out. Maybe you're also going to question this relationship. Maybe your person also desires some kind of distance in this relationship so that he can figure it out for himself. What is it he desires from you? On the other hand, those of you who are married, I think you're dealing with a person who's quite suspicious. Interestingly, this week you could also be concerned about the health of your spouse. From Scorpio, I will move to Sagittarius. For Sagittarius, I have the card 10 of Swords and I also have the card, even though I don't show it, I'm sorry for how things went between us. Perhaps you're being burdened on account of your decisions that you have made in the past and this is going to weigh you down. Or this person you're dealing with could also be weighed down by his reactions towards you. Maybe he's expressing regret over his actions. Incidentally, single Sagittarians, I think you are going to be in a very flirtatious mode. I think the opposite sex will definitely try to help you out. Maybe you need their assistance, but then they could have other ideas in their mind as well. Maybe they are thinking that you will accept their proposals even if they're just flirting with you. Ideally, I think you should not string anybody along. Rather, you should focus on work. In case you're crushing on someone, I think you will always be preoccupied with thoughts about this person. Incidentally, for some of you, I'm also picking up that you could try to reconnect or maybe you could reach out to somebody whom you have feelings for. Maybe an ex-flame could also re-enter your life this week. For some of you, you may also have prophetic dreams about your lover. Incidentally, Sagittarians, those of you who are romancing, I think there'll be discussions with respect to work. Maybe time is also at a premium with respect to your relationship or there's been some kind of misunderstanding. So that is why this person is sorry about how he has behaved. On the other hand, those of you who are married, I think you should not complain about your spouse being inattentive. Your in-laws could also rattle you this week. Maybe you believe that whatever you do for them is never going to be good enough. From Sagittarius, I'll move to Capricorn. For Capricorn, we have the card 5 of Pentacles. And I also have the card, I still remember the good times we shared. Financial issues could take center stage for Capricorns this week. I think those of you who are single, I think there'll be lots of admirers. Maybe they are charmed on account of your personality, your physicality, or your intelligence. Certainly, I think Capricorns, you will leave your suitor heartbroken. Maybe his ego is also hurt, but then he will make a last-ditch effort to reach out to you. Maybe he's recalling the good times that he shared with you in the past, or the past conversations that were there. In case you're crushing on someone, I think you'll continue to cyberstalk this person. Maybe you're also reminded of him now and then. On the other hand, those of you who are romancing, I think you will analyze every move of your person. Maybe you feel that he is mirroring you. Besides, you think that he uses the same phrases that you have used in conversations in the past. Those of you who are in an on-again, off-again connection could be surprised to hear from your lover. I think this person could also be feeling a sense of loss because of some kind of parting that has taken place in his life. That is why he is reaching out to you for comfort. Basically, I think the two of you will also realize that all along he was always thinking about you, or you were always thinking about him. That is why it is very reassuring to rekindle this connection. You're also getting the answers that you're looking for. The love that you have is reaffirmed on account of this reconnection for sure. Romancing Capricorns, I think you're dealing with an insecure lover. Maybe he thinks that you're in love with someone else, although you will remind him that these presumptions are unjustified. Maybe you're also planning date nights, or you're discussing work as well. On the other hand, those of you who are married, I think you should show more affection. Maybe you're intolerant of your spouse and his or her idiosyncrasies. Financial issues, like I said, because we have the Five of Pentacles here, so this could be a factor in your relationship. I think you should find solutions to the problems that the two of you are facing. Ideally, you should bounce ideas of each other. This week, the health of a loved one could also be a matter of concern, Capricorns. From Capricorns, I will move to Aquarius. For Aquarius, I have the card Ace of Swords, and I also have this card about karma, and you are getting your karma. I think karma talks about what you sow is what you reap. So certainly you, or this person whom you are dealing with, realizes that karma never spares anybody. In case you are single, I think there could be a marriage proposal, but then these are early days. Maybe you should not read too much into it. Nonetheless, Aquarians, you will find your admirers trying to impress you. Maybe somebody who is younger than you could also want to reach out to you because he's madly in love with you. Perhaps you have somebody else on your mind and you could continue to cyberstalk this person. Basically, you're trying to understand the thoughts of your crush on the social media. In case you are romancing, I think there'll be those brief conversations. In case you're in an unacknowledged relationship, I think you'll be forced to connect with this person on account of issues that crop up, or there could be some problems and you think that he's the best person to turn to. Incidentally, he's also going to be the one who will stand by you. Rather, he will not disappoint you. So I think you should make that connection even if you're apprehensive. Maybe you're also doing the same on account of family pressure. Nonetheless, I think your lover and you will have those brief conversations. On the other hand, married Aquarians, I think you should avoid disagreements. Maybe you do not want to assist your partner because he's very fussy. You could also blame a third person for creating rifts in your marital life or creating discord in your marriage. But you should remind yourself that karma will not spare anybody. Lastly, we have the card Knight of Pentacles for Pisces, and I also have this card, You All I Ever Wanted. Pisces, in case you're looking for commitment from your person, then you could be a bit disappointed. Maybe he is not ready to walk down the aisle with you. Maybe he could make it plain that he is afraid of responsibilities. This could leave you a bit disheartened as well. Maybe you think that it's not meant to be. Besides, there are too many obstacles in your path with respect to this relationship. Perhaps you are realizing that even though he has rejected you, you know that deep down this is the person you've always ever wanted in your life. Those of you who are romancing, I think your lover and you will share everything. Maybe he will also open up about his childhood or his past life issues that he has been dealing with in this lifetime. Possibly you will chat till late in the night, or you could also exchange snaps with this person. You do realize that the two of you desire each other and nobody else. On the other hand, those of you who are married, I think infidelity could be a factor here. Maybe your spouse is somebody who's quite suspicious. Maybe even you should not pick on your spouse or your partner. I hope everyone you liked your reading this chart with Ariana Stark. Please give us your feedback in the comment section. We also have the monthly forecast for each sun sign, which is published before the month commences. Have a look at that as well to get greater insight into your life. This is Ariana Stark signing off. Take care. Bye till the next time.